Welcome to SP 67D, Principles of Management 1. My name is Felicia Frida Aidan Aqua, and I'll be taking you through session 5, which is looking at the management skills, and we're still centering our discussion in unit 1, the nature of management. By the end of the session, you should be able to explain 3 critical skills required by every manager. You should be able to explain the relationship between the various management levels and the management skills we're going to be discussing in this session as well. So yes, what are skills and why do managers need these skills? First and foremost, skills are the specific abilities which are actually as a result of what? Knowledge, information, practice, and aptitude. So we have what we call the KEE, which is knowledge, experience, and exposure. Basically, that is where your skills come from. So your knowledge from this course is going to give you some specific skills for the kind of work you can go into. You realize that the information and practice and aptitude, which is usually coming from information, comes from your exposure, and the experience comes from practice and aptitude. So sometimes we call it the KEE, which also helps in there as well. So when it comes to manager, every manager requires 3 main skills. No matter where you find yourself, no matter the level you find yourself, the type of organization you find yourself, these 3 skills are very important in there as well. And saying that the application of these skills changes as the managers moves up the hierarchy. So in as much as they all need these 3 skills, they need it in varying degrees as well. So some need maybe A skills like 60%, some need skill A about 20%, some need skill A about 10%. Everyone has a varying degree to which they need these skills, depending on where they find themselves in them. So Robert Carr's 1974 actually identified 3 key skills every manager should have, which are technical skills, human skills, and then conceptual skills. So these are the things we're going to be talking about in this session. So we're saying that when it comes to technical skills, these are the ones you really need to be able to perform that role or that duty. Remember that we said that the lower level, we have more of the operational, that's the operational level, where the supervisors ensure that the work is actually being done. And so for those at the lower level, they need a lot of these technical skills to be able to do that job. You can imagine if someone is in marketing and you want to market a product and you don't have this technical skill, you don't know how to sell a product, how to market a product, what are you going to be doing there? And so technical skill is actually looking at your ability to use tools, procedures, and techniques in a specialized area. So when it comes to education like this, you realize that your teachers, your lecturers, whether from primary to the tertiary university or the universities and polytechnics and things, you realize that they all have some specialized skills in the area of education. And so technical skills are very key in the actual performance of work on the ground. You also have human skills, because you're working with people, and to work with people you need to be able to understand and motivate them to get the work done. Yes. And so human skills is necessary, and everybody needs human skills. whether as an individual, as a business, wherever you find yourselves, human skills are very necessary. Then we have the conceptual skills, which is looking more at our mental ability to coordinate and integrate all of the organization's activities as a whole. And so it is needed to see the organization as a whole and not individualistic in there, for the various functions to be able to work out. And so we're looking at the interrelationships in the and the things which is what in the best interest of the organization. The beauty is whether you're at the lower level, you're at the middle level, you are at the top level, you still need to have all these three skills. You need to have conceptual, technical, and then human skills. However, the degree to which you need it would vary. So you realize that at the top level, where managers are making more of the strategic decisions, these people need a lot of the conceptual skills. So they do a lot of heavy planning, looking at the organization as a whole, looking at the environment, the business, and then outside the business. And so these people need a lot of the conceptual skills, and they need a bit of the human skills because they are going to be working with people. Don't forget that they are working with people within the organization and then outside the organization as well. And so for these people, human skills also matters. However, you realize that the degree to which they need human skills is not as much as they need the conceptual skills. And then you realize that you also need to have a little bit of the technical skills, because you can imagine if you have let's say a head of department for marketing who, let's say, has not done anything marketing before. He's a pure science person, maybe he's just done science stuff, and they just bring such a person to come and head such a department. You can imagine what is going to happen, because they don't even know what the people are supposed to do on the ground, whether they are doing the right thing or not. They won't know. So it's important to have a fair idea about this technical skills, or have a little of it as well. And you made mention earlier that technical skills is about what? Knowledge. It's about experience and the exposure as well, which is looking at the information and all those issues in there. And then we come to the middle level management. And the middle level management, because they're bridge between this and this, they also need a lot of the human skills, because they are working with the top level, working with the lower level. They need to influence these people to get the work done. And you realize that aside the human skills they need the most of, they also have the strategic skills or the conceptual skills, because they would also be making plans, they're making decisions and all those things, and they need these conceptual skills. They also need to have the technical skills, because if you are in charge of a unit or a department, you need to be able to know what that department is about. So like I made an example about the marketing manager who has no idea about marketing. You know that is going to be fire in there. And so the human the middle level manager also needs these technical skills as well. You need to have a fair portion about it, but then most of your work is going to center on the human skills. And then when you come to the lower level managers or the supervisory managers, these people need a lot of the technical skills, because at the end of the day, most of their work is going to be on the ground. They are going to supervise the workers, get them to do what is supposed to be done. So they need to have fair idea about it. when you go into your labs, you realize that the lab supervisor, the lab manager has already done some of the program before. They know what is supposed to happen in the lab and all those ones. They have the experience and expertise there to be able to perform that function. And so they're able to supervise the workers and tell them that, hey, this one we don't do it this way, this one we do it this way. When you go to the sales team, you realize that the sales managers, they are very knowledgeable, they have the skills, they have the everything they need for them to perform that sales function. And so when you go, you're not doing the sales, but they can tell you that we don't do it like this, do it this way instead, do it that way instead. So the technical skills is heavily used by the supervisory managers, and they also need portions of the human skills, because at the end of the day, don't forget that it's not just their capabilities that matters. They're also working with people, and they tend to work with a lot of people because most of the workers will be at the base, and so these supervisory managers have to work with all the workers, and so they need strong human skills to be able to work with these people effectively. And they would also be doing reports for the top level to know what is happening as well. And so they'll be doing reports for the middle level and all those ones. When there are grievances, there are troubles, they'll be doing a lot of reports and planning. They'll be doing their own budgets and schedules. And so they also need the conceptual skills as well. And so you realize that in all the levels of management, yes, everybody actually needs the skills. Everybody in here needs these skills in there, but you realize that the degree to which they need it is different. And so at the top level, you need more of the strategic, at the middle level you need more of the human skills, and at the lower level you need more of the technical skills. But all in all, you'd use a blend of all the three, just that the degrees or the quantities you need would vary. Now, there are other skills which are required by managers. For you to be able to perform your work, you need to have that verbal skills. You'll be talking with people, you'll be communicating with people, and so how you use words matter in there. Whether it is written, whether it is oral, these are all critical in there as well. You also have your writing skills. You'll be writing a lot of reports. You'll be doing a lot of budgets. All these things would have to be written, and so you need to polish or work on your writing skills as a manager. Then there's also the need for us to manage diversity. You know, these days, diversity is something which is very key in there, because you may have workers of various ethnicities, various race, various gender, various beliefs, spirituality, and all of this diversity. As a manager, you have to be able to manage it. So they need those skills to be able to manage diversity, because our workforce today, or our work environment today, is supposed to be diverse in there as well. Time management matters a lot as well, and so as a manager, you should be able to work on your time management skills if you are going to be effective as well. And we've made mention from the first section that when it comes to management, effectiveness matters. Being able to meet your target. There's a time for that thing. Smart objective tells us that we should have a specific time period to achieve these things. And so there is a need for us to be able to manage our time to be able to reach these goals and objectives we've set out in the right time. And so these are other skills which are required by managers. In this session, we have discussed the various management skills, which is the technical, conceptual, and human skills. We've also looked at the various levels and how they also need the various skills and the quantities they need. And we've looked at other skills which are also required by managers. Thank you.